back to Unladylike Opinions. This is Queen Sugar, Season 6, Episode 5, Move So Easily Through the Common Depth. Okay, the episode starts off with Nova on the phone, and Ralph and Charlie are just looking at each other like this is going to be bad. So Nova gets off the phone and she says that the judge upheld a stay for the work holder to excavate the land so they can start digging again. So they can't start digging again. So in the forensic testing of the bones will take a while. So Ralph said Daddy's name just getting dragged through the mud while they accuse him of murder. Charlie was like, it's impossible for them to win a civil suit even if the bones are proven to be related to the families. And Ralph said that show there's a lot of ifs. And you see Aunt Vi at her diner fixing a box for Darla while her and Hollywood are talking about stuff that's going on Ernest's land. And you see Hollywood, you know, bouncing a basketball up and down. And she said, you know, she been so stressed she ate a whole pint of ice cream last night. You know, Hollywood was like, you're beautiful, baby. Either way, through thick or thin, I'm still gonna love you. Can somebody find me a man like Hollywood? I'm just playing. No, I'm not for real. So she says, she was like, oh, I didn't know you started back playing basketball again, you know, because she noticed that, you know, he has basketball. And he was like, nah, this little man got me on that. You know, he loved him some Steph Curry. So she thanks him for how kind he has been to Celine and Gabriel. And he tells her that Ernest stuff will be over with before she know it. And so Prosper walks in on Billy, and you know, she was taking some muffins out of a box, and he said, he was telling her, you know, you should have went to Fiona's. And she was like, these are organic. And he said, Fiona is black owned and it's cheaper. So he asked her if she remembered the time that she stole out of Fiona's and got caught shoplifting. And she was like, she couldn't remember. And she tried to stop the conversation by asking him if he wants some coffee. And he tells her, you know, not to make it so hot last time because it burned his cheek. And so she pulls out a new coffee maker and was like, you know, you can try something new and you can make your own personal coffee, whatever. And he looked at the price and was like, $100? I'm on a fixed income. I can't be buying this fancy stuff. And she was like, you know, it's okay. I bought it. I paid for it. And he told her, you know, don't be wasting your money on stuff like that. So, she put it back in the bag and she was like, I'll take it back. And she was like, I'll take it back and then I'm gonna go to Fiona's and get, you know, the donuts that you want. I mean, cupcakes. And she said, you know, I was just trying to make you happy. And he realizes that he hurt her feelings and was like looking crazy, but you know, she walking out the door now. So you see Darla laying in the bed and Ralph Angel walks in and she was like, she's scared about the baby and the money, and he tells her not to worry. He gonna take care of it. But she ain't convinced because everything is ruined. And he said he had a plan B with some pickup work with Theo. And Darla was like, the one from prison? He was like, and Ralph Angel from prison, Ralph Angel's from prison too, so you don't forget that part too. And you know, he was like, Theo is legit now, lying. And he said it's warehouse work and it can lead to a full-time job. I wonder how stealing can lead to a full-time job. Maybe it can, I don't know. And he was like, he meant his vows when he said, you know, he was gonna take care of her. Ooh, Lord, my hair's a mess. I gotta get it right for this game tomorrow. And he was like, you know, when I made my vows to you that I was gonna take care of you, you know, I meant that. So you see Michael talking to Charlie or whatever, and you know, she's happy to see him, and she tells him, you know, she haven't been sleeping at all, and that things she is worried about a lot of things. And Michael tells her, you know, she likes to be in control, and she can't always be in control. And she asks if he ever felt that way, and he tells her about the anxiety attacks that he been having and that things are triggering him. And he reminds himself that he can't control any of that, and he can only control his reactions. And he can only control his reaction. She tells him that it's some heavy stuff to carry, and she is so proud of him. So then we see Nova trying to barge her way in at the forensic department, and she's demanding that they notify her when they find out, you know, about the bones. And she wants to know before it becomes public. And he said that that's not how it's working. And she was like, well, how it work then? So she walks out with no answers. So you see Darla walking into the diner to talk to Aunt Vi. And Aunt Vi, you know, had the box ready for her and give it to her. And she tells her that she, you know, hasn't had much of an appetite lately. And she is worried about Ralph Angel. And she was like, Vi said that they are not on good terms right now, but they are still family, and she always will be there for them. And Darla was like, you know, I shouldn't be talking to you about this. She was like, I'm the one you need to be talking to. So Darla tells her about the money she has to take the edge off of some of the bills. And she tells her, you know, the money came from, you know, her parents or whatever, and her, you know, school stuff. And Ralph doesn't want her to use the money because it's coming, you know, it's coming from her parents. But she said she asked him to sign that money over anyway, and she feels bad for keeping it from him. But she wants to feel like she is contributing. And Vi said she tells every woman in her right mind that they should keep a stash. And she has 2 accounts that Hollywood doesn't know about. I know about that, baby, because I kept me a stash. Ralph Angel arrives to Hollywood's bar, and he has Mr. Prosper with him. You know, Hollywood is happy to see Mr. Prosper. And Prosper asks Hollywood, is Vi mad at him? And he said, you the only one she not mad at. And Ralph Angel said, facts. And I was like, that's my favorite word right there. Everybody do that. And so he asked Ralph, why she mad at you? I know she not still mad because of the blue situation or whatever. And he said, yep. And so Ralph asked him, well, why she mad at you then? He said, well, she came over and her and Billy got into it, and, you know, I defended Billy. And he said, Vi has done a lot for me, and I never want to hurt her. And Hollywood said, the big man gave you another chance. And Ralph said, so you can make things right with Billy. And Hollywood said, don't worry about Vi. She hasn't said nothing to me about it, nothing being wrong. And even if she did, she gonna be all right. And so they toast to not, you know, letting bad days get to them. So then we see Dominic showing up at Nova's house yet again. Like, I swear. So she called him to bring her some rolling papers. And she asked him if he wanted to join her, if he wanted to join her, you know, smoking or whatever. And he was like, not this time. And he asked her what was bothering her. And she was like, you know, she gonna write. She got something that in her mind that she want to write about. And, you know, he asked her like what it is, and she was like, you know, I can't tell you. You'll find out like everybody else when it come out. And, you know, that was that. And then we see Ralph Angel waiting in his truck, looking all suspicious in the dark and stuff. And then Theo walks out and get in the truck. And, you know, he was like, man, they jammed in there. They playing that old Master P. And Master P was my favorite rapper back then. And so, he gets in the truck with Ralph, and he asked Theo about the details of the job, and he was like, he got family and kids, and he need them all to be proud of him. Well, you need to be at home, then you're not right here meeting him. And so Theo was like, they don't give a damn how you provide for them long as you provide him. And he was like, he needs somebody he can trust, and he know Ralph Angel is the one that he need to help him with the job. And he said they go way back, and the last thing he wanted to see him do is to lose his farm. And he would take an L from, so he was like, he'll take an L from his cut just to make things right. So he pulls out this wad of money, and then I'm thinking like, and then he started flipping through it. I'm thinking like he finna give him a little bit of it or whatever. He gave him the whole damn thing. And so he tells him he looked out for him when he did his bid, and they needed to stick together. So you see Charlie arriving at Nova's, and she got 2 bottles of wine in her hand, and, you know, Nova was like showing her the article on her phone, and she was like, I see you famous. And Charlie said, you mean infamous? Is more like it. And because Black Twitter is letting me have it. You know, Nova said, yeah, Black Twitter ain't no joke. I done been on that side of it. And Charlotte was like, she talked about a lot in the interview, and they overlooked all of that, and she just became a meme. So, you know, over at Vi's Hollywood, Celine and Gabriel all eating, and they're telling Vi how good the food is. And you see Gabriel's eating the greens, and Celine couldn't believe that he was eating it. And she was like, your cooking got to be good if he eating it. She was like, nah, that ain't got nothing to do with me. He see Hollywood eating, and he do what Hollywood do. So Hollywood said he was gonna save the rest for later, and like Hollywood, Gabriel was like, yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. And so Hollywood tells Gabriel, you know, he had to show him something in the living room. And so they go into the living room, and Celine tells Vi that she called the attorney and got the paperwork started for her divorce. And, you know, Gabriel comes in and he shows Celine the basketball that Hollywood gave him. And she thanks Hollywood for everything he is doing for him. And then she turns and thanks Aunt Vi, and she tells her what her and Hollywood have is amazing, and you can't bottle that up and sell it. And so now you see Micah, you know, frat brother, walking in and into the dorm room, and he asks Micah, has he been meditating? And he said the more you practice, the more easier it gets. And he noticed the photos that Michael took, and he tells him, like, you know, how dope and amazing the photos is. And he was like, he needs some photos for, you know, his social media profiles. And he started posing. And Michael said, no, not right here. We should go around the campus and take pictures. And so now we back at Nova's with her and Charlie. And they having a good time reminiscing about things about their daddy. And Nova said if he were here, he would make finding out about the bones easier. And Charlie said, you know, daddy didn't kill anyone, right? And Nova said, of course not. And if he did, you know, he had to have a reason. And Charlie said, you know, Bacon helps her, because you see her over there baking, and she asked Nova for some eggs because she over there baking. She said Bacon helps her with having control of her life. And Nova said she would stick to wine. Hit it to me, please. Ralph Angel is in his truck praying, crying, talking about some, let him get through this or whatever, and God to bring him home to his family. And he know what he doing is wrong. He's sobbing and saying he promised from here on out he gonna do right. I'm sitting here like, how can you pray to God about what is wrong with Ralph Angel? Golly, men and they pride. So Theo comes up and tells Ralph Angel, you know, he need his help loading the truck because one of the guys pulled out, you know, last minute. And Ralph said, it's always some bull with you, ain't it? And he was like, you ain't got to do it, you know, all you got to do is just give me my money back. And he was like, we'll be straight. And, you know, Ralph was like, man, come on. And he gets out the truck and he go with Theo. And as they are loading up the truck, Ralph Angel was like, you hear that? And Theo was like, man, you paranoid or whatever. Ralph was like, I keep hearing something. And he was like, nah, man, come on. And so he hand Ralph this, you know, white envelope as they get through. And he was like, you know, they hug, and he tell Ralph, I'll see you on the next one. And Ralph said, it won't be a next one. And I'm like, whatever. So you see Vi walk in the room with Hollywood after she, you know, done dropping off Celine and Gabriel. And she tell Hollywood how Gabriel was talking nonstop, going on and on. She was like, that boy know he can talk. And she was like, she tells him, you know, he been different lately, but in a good way. And she thinks Gabriel brought a part of him she haven't seen in a while. And she tells him that they will always have kids in their life, but they would never be their own kids. And he says he knows that. So she asks him if he is okay with not being able to pass on his last name and his legacy. And he was like, legacy is more than having kids. But it doesn't look like she is convinced. And I'm thinking Hollywood may want kids, but don't want to say that to Aunt Vi, because he knew from the beginning that she couldn't have kids, and he still, you know, whatever. But I think something may change. Hope not, but it looked that way. So Ralph Angel is driving home when the police gets behind him, and you know he like, oh man. So he pulled over to the side of the road, and he thought they was coming to get him, but they drive right on past him. And he say thank you, and I'm like, yeah, you better thank yourself. And so Charlie lets Envi taste test what she was baking. And Envi said, yeah, it's good, but let's get to why you really here. And she said, it's about Davis and social media going crazy. And Vi said, them folks don't know you from a can of paint. Why you care about what they think? And she said, you posted a picture online and you went to Gayle King and did the interview talking about it. You giving people the opportunity to comment on your life, which is true. So Vi said, have I ever asked y'all what y'all think about Hollywood? And Charlie was like, no, not that I can remember. And Vi was like, exactly, because I'm in a relationship with him. You ain't. And she was like, trouble gonna find its way into your relationship, and I'm just not gonna go around and inviting folks into my relationship. Treat love like it's sacred and leave the bacon to me, because these cupcakes are dry as hell. Whatever. And Charlie said they not cupcakes, they croissants. When I tell you I hit the floor, and I was laughing too. And then you see Billy over there reading an article, you know, that Nova was right. And I guess it's about the police. And she was like, man, I knew you was good, but not this good. And she asked her if she's sure this is what she want to do, because it's good. The good boys in blue not going to like this. And Nova says she is sure. So Billy apologized to Nova for, you know, telling her father about her private life. And then she was like, you know, she said no matter the circumstances, you know, she was wrong for telling it. And Nova said, you know, she been wanting to hear that for a long time, and she accepted and said it's time for them to look in the future. And Billy said that she was her first best friend and the only friend for years. She used to compare her new friends to Nova, and Nova's like, I did the same thing. And Billy said, you know, nobody compare, like nobody can live up to the great Nova, and this was the same for nobody. Nobody could compare to Billy. And so Billy tells her that she is glad that, you know, she is back in her life. So Ralph Angel and Darla arrive at Vi's restaurant. And Charlie, Vi, and Nova are there waiting with glasses of champagne. They are celebrating the victory of, you know, their father's name being untarnished. And, you know, thanks to Nova, the bones came back to be 150 years old. And it proves Ernest didn't kill nobody. So Ralph said, if the bones aren't who we thought they was, then who are they? So, you know, you see Michael walking up to his fat brother and was like, you know, what happened with the test? And he said, I really wasn't prepared for the test. And he was like, he's been feeling restless and he's looking for an adventure. And Michael said, if you ever need someone to talk to, you know, you can talk to me. I'm here for you, because you was there for me. And they hug, but as they are hugging, you see some guys at the elevator looking like, what's going on here? And, you know, the friend, I can't never remember the frat brother name, he see them looking, but, you know, Michael doesn't see it. So hold on. So you get Darla and Ralph are sitting down at the diner, and Darla said this is nice and it feels so good to be out again. And, you know, Ralph said, you know, she gonna love what he got planned, and, you know, they going on a baby moon / honeymoon since their honeymoon got cut short last time. And she's worried about how they gonna pay for this. And he said, you know, he worked a double shift with Theo and got double paid, and he working another shift next week, and they gonna be all right because he got it. Now, didn't you tell Theo this was your last time you weren't coming back? I knew you was lying. So Nova gets a knock at her door, and it's Dominic yet again. And he is bringing her some papers, rolling papers yet again, because she called him like he a personal errand boy. So she asked him if he can find someone to do further testing on the remains that was found on her farm. And he asked her if she wanted to, you know, go jogging with him, and he said sure. And so she go change. So Prosper walks in on Billy cleaning, and he said, you outdid yourself. And he calls her, how did he say it? Mabili? I don't know. He calls her by her whole name. And she said, the only time you call me that is when I'm in trouble. I know the feeling, because my mama called me by my whole name, and I knew I was in trouble. And she said, he wanted to thank her for being there, and she said, "I'm your daughter. I'm supposed to be here. What are you thanking me for?" And she tells him, you know, she remember why she got caught stealing. She got caught stealing donut holes from Friano's when she was little. And he was like, "Yeah, that was your favorite." And they have a little moment, and he tells her, you know, he was wrong, and he hoped she can forgive him for all the times he has failed her. And she said she hoped he could forgive her for embarrassing him and made him feel like she wasn't worthy of his love. And he was like, "You always been, you know, worthy of my love." And he says, "I love you so much." They hug and they cry, and that was the end of the episode. And it looks like next week some stuff really gonna go down. Like, it look like the police gonna come in on Nova, and I wonder why. Like, next week look like it's gonna be really, really good, and I can't wait. So that was my review / recap of Queen Sugar. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comments, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.